Hey everybody, we're into our next lesson in polynomials called regressions. It's very important that if you haven't done so already, you go and watch the video on how to do a regression in your calculator. It's a bit of a tricky procedure, at least a couple times you do it, and then it's easy, but I need you to know how to do that. So if you haven't done that already, hit pause and go watch that other video. If you have done it, then here we go. Now, the cool thing about regressions is that your calculator is doing all the work for you. That's awesome. The bad thing about regressions, though, is when you screw something up in your calculator and you don't know it, well, now you've got a problem, right? If you don't know you screwed something up, that question is done. You get everything wrong. So please, when you're doing these, slow down. So what a regression is essentially giving us a line of best fit. So we create a line of best fit by performing a regression. So when I see any table of values like I'm seeing here, and here, and here, what I want you thinking is I'm immediately going to go to the regression portion of my calculator. Now, you've watched the video, you know how to put these in your calculator already. So what I want you to do right now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do just the first one together. I'm not going to do all three of them with you. I'm going to do just the first one with you, I think. So hit pause right now, put this data carefully in your calculator, and then come back to me when you've got it in. I'm doing the same thing right now too. Okay, so you put your data in your calculator. It should look like that. Now what you're going to do is, I'm going to tell you that this is a linear regression. So I'm going to go down to linear regression right there, hit enter. Trying to hit enter. There we go, hit enter. And then remember, we need to always store this in y vars or y equals, because we're always using the full equation. So there it is. There's my equation. Pretty cool. Now, to graph this thing, if I go and hit y equals, it's already in there. The big thing that once you get that in there that I need you to think about is your window settings. Well, my first list, L1, is my X values. So it's number of books sold. So the number of books, the least number of books I can sell is 0. The most, I don't know. So looking at the table, it's 200. I'm going to just overshoot it. I'm going to say, I don't know, 600. Y min? Well, Y is my revenue. The least amount of revenue I can have is $0. Well, the most I can have in the table is 4,000. Again, I'm going to overshoot that. I'm going to go to say 10,000. X max and Y max are simply guesses, guys. Okay. And then I hit graph, and look at that. I see this lovely linear function drawn. I've got everything I need. Okay. So in my book here, what I want to write down is, don't worry too much about this graph here. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? But really, here's what you just drew me, like that. Okay, the equation, it's really important, again, that you write the whole thing out. Now, sometimes we're going to start getting some long, ugly decimals. That's fine. I'll tell you what to round to, but you never round in your calculator. So you're always using your graph. Does that make sense? Now, the next couple I don't really want to play around with just for the sake of time. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the next page. Okay, there's some hints here for you about graphing. I don't really use them myself, friends. I just think, okay, you don't really need to do any of this. Here's a bunch of your steps. Okay, here we are. Here's where I want to get to right here. So it says, these are the questions you're going to get. And again, in a proper question, when we're not doing just a lesson, it'll tell you what the regression is. So here's my equation. Again, 20x plus 0. Okay, I never do any rounding there. I must have y equals there for full marks. Now, once I've got that, then all I'm saying to myself is this. So it says the revenue earned if 124 books were sold would be. Okay, so here's what you're going to do to show me your work. You're going to say, okay, look, this is x. So I'm going to let x equal 124. What's y? That right there is you showing me your work. How cool is that? Much easier than rational expressions, right? Okay, so I go to my calculator, and it said when x was 124. Okay, so I go in here, value, and I'm going to let x be 124. There it is. I'm going to earn a revenue of 2,480. Now, if you tried to do that and you got an error, it's because your window settings weren't big enough. So you've always got to have a bit of an idea of what your window settings are going to be. All right, next one. The revenue earned if 550 were sold. So I'm going to let x equal 550, y is equal to question mark. Okay, so I go back to my graphing calculator. And I let x equal 550. Oh, 11,000. Love it. Okay. Now, the last one. How many books would we need to sell to earn 3,200? Well, what this is saying is let y equal 3,200, x is equal to question mark. I don't know how many books I sold. So on my calculator on this one, for the TI at least, what I need to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to go to y equals, and on y2, it said I want to earn 3,200. My solution is that point of intersection. And that point of intersection is 160. So I had to sell 160 books. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's it. Friends, get the equation in your calculator doing a regression and answer, is it x, is it y? That's it. That's what makes this so awesome. Your calculator is doing all the work for you. You just have to go slow when you're putting this in your calculator. So when you're doing your homework here, play around with it. So a couple things I just want to highlight before I turn this off. So when performing, number 2 here, when performing a quadratic regression, and I'm writing down the equation that the calculator provides, which one of the following is going to give me 100%? Well, these questions will be out of 1. I'm going to tell you this would get you 0.5 out of 1, 0.5 out of 1, 1 out of 1. I cannot stress enough, you have to have that there. Okay? Now, these values are rounded. You will never use this equation. You will use the full unrounded equation that you put into your calculator. All right? I will see you next time.